Greetings, hello, and welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. I'm ImperialJedi. This is episode number 7 coming at you. And for today's episode, I thought we could maybe just start by doing a quick little segue into some traffic planning and just a little bit of analysis right here. And I'm going to use this particular intersection as kind of an example of how we can maybe just get a little bit more just flow through it without having to do too much of an overhaul. So the reason why I'm picking this intersection here is it's just at the point where we're starting to maybe get too much volume going through here. And it's not so bad leaving the highway, it's more so going on. This is starting to get a little bit too backed up. See, the time of the lights here isn't really... That was a good cycle, but... So if this gets too full and spills back out into these streets here, that's what causes gridlock, just like in real life. People waiting to turn, can't go anywhere, stuck in lights, intersections being blocks, everything just kind of comes to a crawling halt. So, our approach over here in North America might be a little bit different than you guys in Europe, but we don't really use too many roundabouts or anything. Instead, what we have are just high-speed right-hand turn lanes, so you can just kind of scoot and bypass the traffic light. Same principle idea that we were trying to implement when we were doing our partial cloverleaf system. So I might maybe try something like that over here, just to get a little bit more flow out of this. And then if we look at our traffic map right here, you can see in this area, it just sticks out like a sore thumb, right? If we want to continue with this great traffic flow, we got to fix this. And we're going to want to do it, I think, before it becomes more of a problem. Because the traffic, if it does, get too backed up or whatever, and the gridlock does happen, that's going to be just really bad for your service vehicles. So like garbage trucks, your police, ambulances and stuff, they just can't really get around because the streets were all blocked, right? And then those vehicles sit in traffic for too long, they eventually despawn, and then your citizens move out because all their emergency calls are going unanswered, right? So that's pretty bad. So we want to obviously address this before it happens. And of course, whenever possible with this city specifically, we're going to be using alternate means. So public transit, that kind of stuff, right? But, I mean, unavoidable to have some traffic on the road. Anyway, I think that's enough chit-chat. Let's jump in with this. I guess we can keep the game running. And if we look at the bulk of the traffic, it looks like they're just trying to leave the highway, get onto this route, and just go further up here and then swing a left into there, or just go on down. So this would lead me to conclude that we actually need a longer highway with another exit over here. But we'll do that afterwards. Let's just kind of see what we can do with the improvement here. But yeah, so the bulk of the traffic is turning right. They don't seem to be going too often into this spot. I say that now and all those cars go, but you can see the bulk of the traffic's going straight, right? So what we can do is have a little bypass that just maybe goes like this, and we'll have it just go past that intersection. And the reason why I'm going past the intersection like this is I want to encourage drivers to use this lane if they wanted to make the left right here. And then I want to encourage drivers to go this direction if they wanted to maybe turn right. And then to help the whole process here, let's take the traffic light out right there. Great. And we put it on 3-speed, we should see the bulk of the new people now taking this. And because there's no traffic light here, our flow-through rate is going to be a lot faster. So when this light turns green, more people can go. We don't have to risk this getting backed up now. Bada bing, bada boom. And then we're watching just for the spacing, the traffic, and everything here. There's just enough room for cars to make a successful merge over without it making making it look too silly. So if they want to turn left here, that's a-okay as well. And then if we wanted to, if it looked like it was being a little bit too fast, too silly, just slow that down by reducing the speed limit with a smaller, like a lower density road here, right? So transition's nice, they come in fast. If even that's too fast, do the whole way, right? They won't use both the lanes, I don't think. They might only just stick to the one lane. No one should be turning left here. But there we go, that's kind of cool. Now let's do something similar on the other side, just so we can get people scooting through the light here. And then in real life, you would also probably find like a merging lane or like an asymmetrical road to go along with it. We unfortunately can't affect or control the speed limits here, but we would have something like this, so that the two lanes could safely merge into the one there. But you can see without help from a mod or anything, we even can't get the traffic to do what we want here. So we'll just take it back to the highway because we want the extra speed through here, but hypothetically. Or if you're looking to maybe make some roads in the road editor, kind of think about this perhaps. Have some 2-lane merging options. Alright, I guess we can put it back on 1 speed, sorry, and just watch it here. It's kind of fun, right? Traffic volume gone. And then we can just decorate this. So traffic light stays here, because we still need some, you know, some brakes and traffic for the left-hand turn. But when this light's red, come on in, sneak on by. No problemo. Yeah, I think that's a win right there. Now if we look at our traffic map again, look at that, huge difference, right? It's not really sticking out as much. Still red. We're getting a lot of volume through here, but the volume's moving faster, which is why it's not like bright red. Okay, so again, didn't really fix everything. So I was thinking that maybe a longer highway with another exit over here is probably our best bet. And then what we could do, just to maybe make things a little bit different, is let's try a different style of interchange over there. And I have this really cool idea for afterwards too. Okay, so let's just do that same trick we did before, where we switch over and we're doing just a partial raised highway here. But for me to be able to pull off that trick I just mentioned, I'm going to have to bring this back to ground level eventually. If you guys remember a few episodes when I was saying, when I was building this, you got to just kind of go at it in stages. So budget for some wiggle room, I guess, right? No pun intended, right? Because the roads are wiggling. Okay. Getting there. So I had a comment come in from the, obviously from the comment section, to try and use some canals. I had a request for that. So what I was thinking we could do is bring the highway in through here, and then maybe in this spot here we can make a dumbbell interchange. And then over here, or like a dogbone, sorry, well, dogbone dumbbell, same kind of thing. And then over here we can have a 6-lane bridge with a bicycle lane that goes up and, oh hey, awesome. Oh great, new area and everything. Oh, IT clusters, oh fantastic, okay. We gotta go over this really quickly. So we just unlocked our high density, which is absolutely fantastic. A whole bunch of new policies and stuff, which again we'll kind of go over. These, I mean, they're handy, and they also end up costing you a lot of money. So you got to be kind of careful. Some of them will make you money, so there's a fine line in between them. But the main thing I'm after right here is the IT cluster, the metro. That'll be really fun to work with. A new tile that we can buy, and we should have some more. Yeah, there we go. Incinerator. That's the big one here. So I'm gonna place the incinerator, I think, right away. There we go. Oh, cool. University equivalent. Okay. Let's pause this for a split second. Still not 100% on what's going on with this. We're having a good conversation on the comment section here. Enjoying the thought process from everyone. So it seems like we still need incinerators. Definitely put the recycling centers down because they help with the trash, and they more so help with goods for the industry, but it seems like the landfills will still fill up and you still need to work towards an incinerator. So it's kind of we'll figure out trash, I think, in the end, but it's kind of an ongoing work in progress here. But now we can empty this into the incinerator, so we know that much is good. Alright, now what I was saying over here is have a 6-lane bridge go across, bring the bicycles and everything over with it, and then maybe on both sides of the bridge we can have a canal network goes up. The canal can make a T, and that can just be a little cutout for this river right here, so we can have a little bit of boat traffic or just some waterfront activity kind of stuff. And then over here, where it's kind of flat and just a bit open, you know, with the hills and everything as the backdrop, what we could do is have our government buildings, we can have our university, some of our downtown, like mini downtown stuff. So that can be more like the historic original downtown. And then when we get down here, that can be like the modern new downtown with like the stadiums and all the massive stuff, like expo centers and everything. So it'd be really kind of cool to see the transition and everything. So let's get cracking. And you guys let me know in the comments if I'm like way overboard with the canals. We'll just do a little start to it, because canals can sometimes be a little finicky to work with. Okay, so let's just break this shape a little bit here. It would be really cool, actually, if we can get this back into that same straight line as over here. So I'm going to draw this down just for that marker point, just so I know that it's in line with this guy here. And then we'll just curve the highway to go in towards it. And then what we'll have is a roundabout, and then the lanes going in and out with a bridge over top. And that'll be how the Dogbone Interchange will work. So I can continue straight. Digging that. And why don't we make this one nice and symmetrical? So I can actually use that word properly too. Alright, so let's go out by 15. I don't know if we have room for that on both sides. Negative. Out by 10. I still need room for the roundabout, that's why. And I don't think we're going to make a bridge or anything over here. I think it's just going to be the roundabout. And now that I look at this, I still think that's even maybe a bit too far. So that's 10, 9, 8. Let's go 8. For simplicity, that costs 320. Cool. Now we can attach a roundabout to this. Doesn't to be all that big of a roundabout. We're not looking to make a massive presence here. So maybe 4 by 4. And again, we're just going for that 5. You see the blue line pop up. Just remove it. We'll go back by 1. There's the 4 mark. And now we can line everything up because we got the road markers on. Easy peasy. Alright, same thing over here. There we go. When we're getting close to the coast, it's not impossible for us to do a partially raised roundabout, which can sometimes look kind of fun, actually. Okay, so the slope doesn't really want to work as a bridge. A little bit too close to that as well. Okay. So as it turns out, this side looks like it needs to be a bit further out. So much for the symmetry. That's okay. So we'll just push that a little bit further back. There we go. Oop, I think that's enough, is it? No. So you can see the slope coming back out, unless I make it a super, super long one, will be, oh, never mind. This game is just throwing all kinds of surprises at me today. Alright, I'll work with that because I know it'll fit. Let's put this in place. This is one of those measure twice, cut once scenario, and I didn't do the do that. Oh dear. Okay, well, we can pretend that it's symmetrical, but I think we have one extra unit on that side. Anyway, the way these work is the two sides are connected together like this, and then we're going to have our high speed just kind of in and out, just going in with the flow like that type thing. So let's move this further down. And this way, no traffic lights, no stopping each other. And then just so that we have room for some park stuff and still bring trees and not trees, sorry, the trains and stuff through here, I'm gonna make this a little bit oversized with the on-off parts. And then from here, we would just connect this over to an intersection. So why don't we come out with 2 lanes with a nice set of trees on it. I also had a request to use some more trees through the city. And then the trams we know are gonna be close by, so why don't we come across like this. There. We'll just gently curve these two together, and then we're connected. So I'll put it over on 3-speed, and we should now see a whole bunch of new cars once that light turns green, hopefully making their way down here if they're looking to get up to this spot. Oh look, already some new travelers. And I'm gonna cautiously start using a few more avenues through here, only because we're going to have just more traffic in general, but I really don't want to start making a trend of this. So some of these may even be downscaled, but just to kind of get us a little bit more vehicle friendly over here. And again, I think the transition point will probably be somewhere in and around here, and we'll have just one little middle pocket, I think, of just a few wall-to-wall blocks surrounded by a whole bunch of urban sprawl. Trying to visualize here. And it looked really, I mean, I'm so excited. Let's just put that bridge and I'll kind of show you what I mean here with the canals and stuff. Alright, so it's going to have, I want to say, almost like a viaduct kind of feel to it because of how long and big this bridge is going to end up being. And it's going to go like right over top of pretty much everything here. And if we can get our pillar spacing just right, we can get the suspension to look like it's just in the middle. Yeah, I think it's okay. I might make that a little bit longer. And then the other thing I'm going to do right now too is just start putting the canal system in. So I'd like just some space on both sides of the canal. Is that's 440. There. So I want some space on the inner parts of the canal, so maybe we can have some park or like a bike lane system or something. So what I'm doing is I'm just drawing these down. I'm going to use this as kind of like a reference point. I guess we'll use the deep canal through here. And see, I'm just using that for a marker reference. And then same idea. So when I go here, same thing, right? So now these are in line with one another. Go up to about there or so. A little bit of a landing approach or whatever like that. Could be kind of a spot for some park space or something too. And then you can see what we're going to end up doing with that, just cut that right through, right? Canals, they're kind of tricky to work with because the water, you might end up with some flooding and stuff. That's why I'm using the deepest one. And if you have really steep banks, it'll be tricky to get water flow going in. So that's kind of why we're doing the side approach right here as well. I'm not even sure if this would even be enough just on its own. And we might maybe see some spillover action happening over here. And if you're running into a problem where you can't get any water into your canals, if you happen to have the Natural Disasters DLC, you can use the freshwater outflow pipes. And you can literally just line these, like, and they snap beautifully to the wall. And they'll just dump a whole bunch of fresh water out here. And bonus points because it looks absolutely awesome, the way those kind of just overlap like that. You might even just have some for fun, just for decoration's sake. Okay. Oh yes. And then something else that we can do, and I'm probably going to do it once we get a little bit more of the area established, but we can start drawing in some seawalls just through like this. And when done correctly, they have a really nice effect. And then if we are happy with the placement of them, we then switch over to our terraforming, making sure we're on the highest one. I'm going to get over to here. I'm going to right click on a low point in the water, and see, I'm just going to push that terrain back and make it seem like the seawall is just the edge of the water right there. Kind of tricky with these little openings and whatnot here. So these are the spots where I'll most likely toss down some rocks and stuff. Bonus points if we get the big ones in, right? I think you get the idea. So that may change, may stay, but still kind of nice, right? Okay, so actually getting pretty decent water flow through here. Flooding really wasn't an issue at all, so I'm happy with that. And the highway, I mean, all we have to do is really just decorate it, right? This is nice, not too intrusive. I'm digging the tunnel here. Okay. Let's start doing some high density zoning since we unlocked that. That was our plan from the previous episode. See if we can get some people in here. Let these build in the background, but let's start doing some, I think, detailing of that highway interchange. And we'll try and bring, I think, just a little bit of park and beautification in here as well in the back part. And maybe just for the visual sake. See, I wish I could snap to that almost. Close. If you have the time, and this is extraordinarily time consuming, but if you're just playing with vanilla, you can only place the shoreline, or sorry, the keys against the shoreline. You just saw that message pop up for me. If you have the time to do this, I'm going to stretch that again. If you have the time, what you can do is partially flood an area, or you can use the canals and stuff, right, like that. Get a head start, I guess. But like make your own canal out of the terrain, and then you can put down the seawalls, and then you can stop the flow of water, make it back into, you know, land or whatever, and you can use that approach to do sunken highways. I know this sounds absolutely bonkers, but basically it's just like going like this. You would cut this in. Oh, too much soil, of course. Good thing we have so much money right now. So yeah, so those sunken highways, if you want to do them without any mods, this is it. So you would do that, let the water come in, and then once it's, you know, once it's deemed a shoreline or whatever, put down your quay walls, and then cut off where the water's coming in. So that'll just take a few seconds to sort itself out. There, see? Yeah, there we go. See how that now works? Right, and then we cut that off, right? And then when that evaporates or you pump out the water, whatever you end up doing. I know this is so time consuming. You're probably rolling your eyes being like, what are you even talking about? But sometimes if you have no mods, you gotta MacGyver situations, right? Anyway. If anyone does manage to do that without any mods, hats off to you. Feel free to definitely share some pictures of that. Okay, a little bit beautifying. Let's do that now. And let's keep an eye on our high density zoning. You know what, actually, before we do a little bit of detailing, just because of our demand is so darn high right now, I'm going to talk a little bit more about high density. And so in these kind of areas, we know we're going to be switching this over to offices. Because our demand is so darn high right now, let's just do some office zoning. Get some height through here, look kind of fun with the buses and stuff. We're not going to unzone our industry just yet. Let's instead tackle this demand first, and then we can get some relocating done once we get some more space bought. This one is full as well. I'm going to drop down a second incinerator, just because we still need the city's trash to be picked up. And these guys here are going to be busy dropping trash off just at the incinerator. And this incinerator is going to be very busy with all the trash coming in, so help spread the load around. In this area, we can kind of deem it pretty much temporary. If anyone we place doesn't, I want to say it doesn't really matter too much because it's all going to be moved anyway. So I'll be less conscientious about that, but just so we're on the same page, I guess, right? So some office zoning coming in. If you find that the office zones, everything becomes too much of a concrete jungle, the buildings are like way too much, break some of that away with some plazas and some parks, or even just some simple pedestrian walkways. Something like this in between a row of, say, high-density buildings on both sides, just so you can kind of see, see across the street, see down a few blocks, get some light, break some of those shadows up. Has a nice effect to it. Alright, so just a hint over there, and because we're trying to be, I want to say eco-friendly and stuff, right, but because we don't really want people driving too much, why don't we provide some jobs over here in this residential sector? It's a small little working area. And again, just kind of maybe some filler for some of these zones here. Put some plazas in place. Have a little side road come on through. That's kind of fun. And then let's take a look at what the specialized IT cluster looks like, because those buildings are super, super tall. And so since we're now doing just a few tall buildings right here, why don't we change a bit more of this to high density? Just like the faintest amount, say this little inner part right here, just so we get some transitions. And let's see some high-density green buildings as well. Terrible, let's do that again. There we go. Okay, so specialization. Green for you. IT cluster for you. Alright, we'll let this do its thing. Let's now do some detailing over here. Gosh, I'll keep on 3-speed, why not? And I did say that I actually wanted some trains to come through here. I think what we'll do is have the train track come through, I can't place it just yet, but come through this portion, right through here, and then maybe elevate, or just sneak on by, just the faintest amount, right next to that roundabout. Maybe even terraform a little bit. So I'm going to then put some rocks and everything on the inside of the thing here, instead of having the train come through. It's kind of my thought process for that now. Don't go too crazy with the rocks. But because we use so many of these little ones in the same kind of, process over here, we should be using them here because it just sends a bit more of a consistent kind of message through the city. So if you're looking at the city from an overhead, you basically want, your city to have a nice kind of common theme to it, right? Like imagine if everything looked so drastically different, you'd be like kind of confused, I guess, right? Off to a good start, I think. Alright, remember the before and after. It's Speedy Gonzales, this one. And I'll make the concentration of trees, I think the highest right in the little inner part of this thing. And I think what would be really fun through here would be have an elevated walkway that connects to the waterfront walkway and the waterfront bike path, which we'll have to still bring in. Probably keep the bike path on this side and the rails on the other side. This will be really exciting when it's all said and done, and we finally get some trains and stuff rolling through here. And actually, maybe to help tie this in a little bit more, and just to get some bus activity and stuff, maybe we can have the smallest little transit turnaround point here. Maybe breaks off one of the roundabouts or something. This will take some planning, but I think we can do that, right? So you have people walking over here, hopping on a high-speed bus link or something. That could be kind of fun. Especially if we tie it in with a train station. I feel like I'm a little bit all over the place with this episode. I got too many ideas going on right now, I guess. I'm really excited to see the high-density buildings. And we'll take a look at the difference, too, because I was not lying. The IT buildings are massively tall. So if you want a really, really just staggered height skyline, like with vanilla now, there's so many more options. Like you guys will see what I'm talking about in just a second here. And then maybe in the roundabouts we can use some of those colored trees, just to get a bit of those going. Not too shabby. Strong wind today. It's kind of creepy, actually. So there's a little cluster of these in the center, should be okay. Quite nice. Alright, let's do a hint of detailing over here. Let's just extend this a bit. Sometimes the bridges want to be finicky when it comes to working with the canals. Often you'll have to raise them just by one click. Just a little upwards like that sometimes. Alright, so just a little bit of infrastructure over here. And if you guys are okay with it, maybe next episode we can start working on the university campus. I want a bit more space between here. And, you know, we'll I think we'll worry a bit more about the road structure next episode. Yeah, give me your thoughts, guys. Let me know if if you guys want to do the university campus, because I got some fun ideas for that, especially involving some one-way streets and some transit planning. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, why not? So let's do a little bit more beautifying over here, and then we'll call it an episode. And yeah, a little bit all over the place. I'm not sure why that's the case, but I think I have too many ideas I want to get out today. And we'll still transition again into high density progressively over the next few episodes. So just kind of like we'll take little segues like we did today. Okay, let's go take a look at what we have over here. Look at that. I wasn't lying, those buildings are tall. So that's the IT cluster right over there. And then this is the generic industry, or sorry, generic offices over here. So these are still, I think, a little bit on the lower level end, but not as tall, right? Look at that. I got a skyline poking through these trees now. That's awesome. Our little city's starting to grow up. So yeah, this is kind of where I envision the transition to high density being. We'll surround this, oh boy, park burned down. We'll surround this with low density buildings. Keep this little part here, the high density pocket. And then yeah, as we start getting closer down there, we'll transition upward as well. And then we're gonna do, I think, just a little bit of high density planning in here too. Very fun. All right, guys, I will leave you here. Sorry I'm going to be all over the place. I don't know what's going on. One of those kind of thinking about too many things, I guess. But yeah, I think we'll move into the university planning, unless you guys tell me otherwise. But let me know your thoughts for sure on that. And tell me what you think about the high density. Are we too much? Are we too little? In the right spot here? How's this highway looking? How's traffic? Things are good. I like it. All right, guys, I need your thoughts, apparently. All right, I'll see you in the next episode. All the best, happy building, and take care.